So if you picture a map of India's power grid, you might just assume generation is spread out relatively evenly, right? Like to support over 1 billion people.
Right, you'd think it just, everywhere.
Exactly. But instead, today we are looking at this satellite map from Bhuvan, which is the Indian Space Research Organization's GEO platform, and it tracks the exact locations of the country's coal power plants.
And visually, it is quite a shock.
Oh, it really is. It looks like someone just took a bucket of bright red paint and spilled it across a very specific lopsided belt, just leaving vast stretches of the country completely dark.
Yeah, totally blank.
So our mission for you today in this deep dive is to decode this map. We want to understand the stark physical footprint of this energy infrastructure.
Okay, let's unpack this. Why is the geography of this grid so violently uneven?
Well, what's fascinating here is that we tend to treat the power grid as this, invisible, omnipresent web. Like it just exists equally everywhere all at once.
Yeah, like Wi-Fi or something. Exactly, like Wi-Fi. But this map totally shatters that illusion. Energy generation is stubbornly physical. I mean, it demands a highly localized visual geography.
Right, because the clustering is just intense. The vast majority of these red dots, which are the coal plants, are crammed together in central and eastern India.
Yes, right in that middle section.
We are talking about a dense, solid wall of red across states like Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh and Odisha.
Yeah, that is the nation's coal belt, basically doing the heavy lifting. It is an unavoidable rule of macro infrastructure, honestly. You have to build the generation plants right on top of the resource.
Because moving the coal is too hard.
Right. Moving millions of tons of raw coal over land is just incredibly inefficient. It is economically punishing, so the plans act as this anchor point right at the source.
Wait, but if moving the raw material over land is so punishing, why does the map show these secondary red clusters all the way over on the western side, like Gujarat and Maharashtra,
Right.
and, creeping down the southern coast too? Doesn't that break the rule?
Yeah. Well, it seems like it does, but those coastal clusters actually prove the exact same logistical rule. It is just via a different supply chain.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, those western and southern plants aren't sitting on domestic coal seams. They are positioned directly on deep water ports to import coal via cargo ships.
That makes total sense.
Or they're built immediately adjacent to massive industrial hubs, to minimize transmission loss for high-demand factories. So geography and logistics are completely dictating the infrastructure.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because once you step away from that central belt and those coastal ports, you just hit massive voids.
Just total blank spaces.
Yeah. The entire northern mountainous stretch, like Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Ladakh, and the extreme northeast, there are practically zero red dots.
And the negative space on this map is exactly what defines the engineering reality of the modern grid.
But how does that physically work? Like,
Yeah.
if you live in the far north, your immediate environment is entirely devoid of these plants, yet you still have power.
Right, you can still turn on the lights.
Exactly. You are surrounded by an empty map, whereas someone in Chhattisgarh is living inside the spilled red paint, so to speak.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it reveals this massive vulnerability. Or, well, rather an incredible feat of engineering interdependence.
How so?
Think of that dense central coal belt as a massive beating heart. It has to pump energy uphill, so to speak, across thousands of miles to reach the extremities of the country.
Oh, wow. So those empty northern zones are basically surviving on a 1,000-mile extension cord.
That is exactly it. High-voltage transmission lines act as the arteries. When you don't generate your own regional power, you rely entirely on that centralized heart to keep your lights on.
Just pulling current across mountain ranges and forests.
Yeah. Plains, rivers, everything. It is not just a localized grid. It is a continental-scale life support system. The empty zones only survive because the infrastructure bridge actually holds up.
So what does this all mean? I think for you listening right now, it forces a total perspective shift.
It really does.
Because when you flip a switch, the electricity isn't just pulled from the ether. It doesn't magically appear from the drywall. It is tethered to very specific physical coordinates on a map.
And it's relying on that arterial network that might span half a continent.
Right.
Which raises an important question to mull over as we wrap up. If we generated a real-time satellite map for your exact location right now, what kind of dots are surrounding you?
That is a great point.
Are you sitting in a localized generation hub, or are you at the very end of a 1,000-mile extension cord? How far away is the actual physical source of the electricity powering the device you're using to listen to this deep dive?